Hey flowmigos, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Black Flowmigo, aka Miss Flaws and All. And look, today I'm indoors. Oh my gosh. And I have like all my props. I'm ready to get into our class, our session today. So I hope you guys are ready too. I have a bolster and I'm just gonna get started in an actual seated position. I normally don't get a chance to take my time, so like I'm really gonna enjoy today's session with you guys, and I hope you guys like the scenery and the switching up. So for anybody new, welcome and let's flow. So we're gonna start with some seated breaths, bringing one hand to belly, one hand to heart. Now you can kind of decide what you want to do here. Maybe it feels good to switch up positions. You can like maybe be in the seated position or on the sits bones as opposed to this kneeling position that I'm in. But whatever is the most comfortable for you, that's where you can start. And you can just tap into that breath. Tap into some movement that feels good for you, whether that's bringing the hands overhead with an inhale, exhaling back to heart, or whether it's keeping that hand on belly and one hand on heart, just feeling the breath as it moves in and out the body. I welcome you guys to just deepen your breath. Maybe just notice how it feels to just be alive. Notice the flow, and maybe bringing in some breaths of fire if that's a part of your practice. Maybe just bringing in some breathing that feels good for you, a pattern that works for your mindset, for where you are today in your practice. And just give yourself a moment to set an intention. Give yourself a focus for today's practice. And just keeping yourself present. We're going to tap into some movement that feels good for us. Maybe some shoulder rolls, neck rolls, maybe some spinal movement that feels good and natural for you. Maybe inhaling both of those arms to the sky, exhaling hands to heart. Inhaling again, reaching out, exhaling hands to heart. And again, whatever feels good. If you're adding some movement, make sure you reverse it if it's going in one direction, if you can reverse it. Now, taking a moment, wherever feels most comfortable, I'm going to sit back into my child's pose on my bolster and let my upper body breathe long, let my hips sit back. We're starting very restorative today. Option to press to down dog when you're ready, lifting hips to sky, pedaling out the heels, walking the dogs, maybe breathing life into those hamstrings for the first time today. Bending knee, opposite heel is lifting, and then switching sides, bending opposite knee, lifting opposite heel, just taking your own movement. Now, option to stay in that down dog, option to lower when you're ready. Take another moment here, either in child's pose or maybe into a more extended child's pose, knees wide. Maybe pushing hips back a little more. We're gonna add a little movement. Inhale, lifting up, walking the hands back. And as you exhale, you can round the spine, tuck the chin into chest. I'm gonna go slowly lift up to remove my bolster. Gonna add a little more spinal movement and warm up with some cat and cow. So stacking shoulders over wrists, hips over knees as you're ready. Gonna inhale, lift the chest, drop the belly. And as you exhale, you're gonna round the spine, tuck the chin into chest while pressing the ground away. Inhale, fill up that belly, let the tailbone press back. Exhale, round the spine, tuck the chin into chest. Now we want to keep the arms as straight as possible. That means we're fully engaging through the palms. Exhale. Press the ground away, tuck the chin to chest. Inhale and just flow with your own breath. Flow at the speed and pace that feels right for you. taking a few more rounds before you settle back, and maybe take a moment to rest in child's pose, extending long through upper body. Maybe knees are spreading wide, hips are pushing back into the heels, fingertips are reaching long. Maybe adding a little side reach here, so reaching fingertips all the way towards the left side while you bring a great big stretch to the right side of the body. Walking fingertips a little more on the next inhale, and then as you exhale, feel that belly deflate. And inhale back to center to reset. And then reaching with your next inhale all the way to the right side of the mat. Now as we're reaching and inhaling towards the right side of the mat, we're stretching down the left side of the body. Should be digging all the way from the arm, fingertips, into the side of the hip, side of the belly. Finally, bringing yourself back to that center child's pose position. And on your inhale, scoop the heart forward, keep the chest low to the ground, find that upward facing dog. As you exhale, find your downward facing dog. And we're going to continue that flow from upward facing dog, squeezing glutes at the top, to our child's pose at the back of the mat, spreading knees. Inhale and exhale, letting that spinal movement be dictated by the breath. Staying maybe in child's pose for a moment. Maybe taking one more final spinal movement here. Inhaling to that upward facing, shoulders away from ears. Exhale to your child's pose. Upper body's nice and long, and we're just breathing into the body here. Now on your next inhale, we're gonna thread the needle. So lifting up slightly and threading the right arm through, bringing the right shoulder to ground and the back of the hand to ground to open the shoulder. Now that left arm can stay out, reached in front, or wrap behind the back. I highly recommend wrapping behind the back. Reach the left fingertips towards right hip. We're gonna just work on increasing that mobility through the shoulder. Slowly unwinding, resetting when you're ready. Unthreading softly, and then allow your next inhale to lift you slightly and thread the left arm and the back of the left hand through the right side, pressing back of hand into ground to open shoulder. That right arm can stay out in front or wrap behind the back. Bend at the elbow, reach the fingertips into the hip crease. Let's breathe in, open up. And as we breathe out, we're anchoring here. Place the right hand back down in front. Inhale, slowly lifting up, unthreading when you're ready. Exhaling back to that child's pose. Now inhale, coming back up, stacking the shoulders over wrists, finding your tabletop position. As you exhale, you can press to down dog, lifting knees off the ground, pedaling the heels out. Now as you pedal the heels, keep pressing the chest back towards the thighs. And then when you're ready, slowly walk those feet into the front of the mat. Maybe bending the knees, stepping one foot at a time until you reach the front. Find that flat back extension, and then fold hands to the back of the legs. As your next inhale comes in, we breathe to the top of the mat. Squeeze the glutes. Exhale to release. And we're gonna breathe in and out to release. Now taking a sun style here, inhaling to the top of the mat, squeezing glutes, hips reach forward, and then exhale, hands straight through midline to forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, shoulders to hip height. So you can take your time here. This might be your first flat back extension, so it might be intense on the glutes and hamstrings. Plant the hands, walk back into that high plank. Now we're gonna drop the knees, keep the shoulders over wrists, let the spine breathe long as we come to high plank to low. Now from that low plank, pressing into upward facing dog. upward facing dog to downward facing dog. Now I'm moving a little faster, but if you guys want to take it slow, take it slow. Pedal those heels out. Enjoy every single moment of this hamstring opener, of this full body awakener, and honestly just start to build the heat. Pedal those heels. You're going to walk the feet in a little closer to the hands, just a tiny bit, so we can add a twist, reaching our right hand to the outside or to the ankle of the left leg, however we can get there. Maybe to the outside, whatever feels good for you. Before you untwist and retwist, breathing in, now reaching that left hand to right ankle. So we're just adding a little spinal movement, a spinal twist, engaging and firing up the back of the body. Now release to down dog, and the feet can walk into that flat back extension. When you're ready to exhale, fold into the legs, and then let your inhale bring you up. You're gonna reset to extended mountain. Take another inhale, breathing up. Exhale, hands to the midline, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, shoulders hip height, gaze is forward. Exhale, plant the hands. Now we're gonna hop or step, high plank to low, dropping the knees or not. Inhale, find upward facing dog, and then exhale to downward facing dog. Now feel free, if you're getting fatigued, find your child's pose, do what you need to do here. Option to pedal out the heels or just hold, whatever works. Now we're gonna take another twist so the feet can step in just a little bit, maybe a tiny half a step, maybe a full step. Feet walk in a little bit closer to the hands before we twist. Bringing the right hand to the left ankle. You can softly keep the knees bent if you like here as well. And then slowly untwist. And on your next breath, retwist. This time left hand to the right ankle. And we're opening up the chest and heart as we twist. Maybe gaze is up slightly. Bring both hands back out in front of you. Find that downward facing dog and step feet in for a flat back extension, shoulders to hip height. Go ahead and exhale and fold. And let your next inhale bring you all the way to the top of your mat. Squeezing glutes. Exhale, hands to heart, reset. Shake it out. Taking your next inhale, reach your arms up and overhead. Squeeze the glutes at the top. And then exhale, hands to midline for forward fold. Chest to thigh. Inhale, hands to shins, shoulders hip height, halfway lift. Exhale, hop back to that high plank, shoulders over wrist, and lower to low plank. Now inhale, find upward facing dog. And then when you're ready, exhale to downward facing dog. On your next inhale, lifting to three-legged dog on the left side. Exhale, bend the knee, and you can shift shoulders over wrist as you drop the knee and slide it in between the hands. Now we're setting up for pigeon pose. The back right leg is super long if we can, or we can bend the knees and bring both of the sits bones down. Now taking a fold over that front left knee, decide where you want to go next, okay? Maybe you stay folded over the knee. Maybe you walk the hands back to stack the shoulders over the wrist. Maybe you reach for that back foot by bending the back knee, engaging the glute to take the pressure off, and you flip the grip. Now, I wanted to give a quick tutorial on how to flip the grip if you don't know how. Now, what I would like and recommend is that you use a yoga wheel and you hook the yoga wheel into the foot using the opposite hand, and then go ahead and drive the elbow up and the thumb down to flip the grip. Now, that was super quick, and I know a lot of you guys are probably like, well, what the hell was that? Don't worry, we're gonna do it again, okay? So, shifting back into down dog, and then we're gonna switch sides. So three-legged dog on the right side. As you exhale, you're gonna bring shoulders over wrist and slide the right knee in between the hands to frame the knee. So hands are framing the knee, and the back left leg is super long, or option to bend the knee, right? As you exhale, you can take a fold over that leg. Just breathe into the back of the leg, especially the right leg. The glute is really working, hamstring. The back of the leg is lengthening. Now you can stay there, or option to walk the hands back. You can stay with the shoulders stacked, or you can try to flip the grip. Now, anytime I flip the grip, I use opposite hand to foot, but of course, we're going to use this handy dandy wheel, and same thing here. Now, we're looking to get flexibility within the toes to be able to reach back for the wheel or the strap, whatever you decide to use. And then same thing here, we're bringing elbow to sky, thumb down, right? And then that back leg is extended, of course. And like I said, we need a lot of flexibility in the foot. So you kind of want to work on like curving the foot and increasing the range in the top of the foot, okay? So sorry. Okay, I know that was quick. I'll go into a deeper video about flipping the grip. I'm super excited to show you guys that technique though. Go ahead and hop into the front of your mat. We're gonna reset, let it all go, folding when you're ready, and then let your inhale bring you up. At your own pace, squeezing the glutes at the top to reset, pushing those hips forwards, and then hands to heart. And I want to go ahead and cool you guys down because we did a lot of work today, and I kind of wanted to make sure we got time for a shavasana. So if you guys are ready to cool down, I invite you guys to do what feels best for you. I wanted to use the wheel again just to show you guys some variety. Of course, you can do this little back bend, you can do this heart opener, chest opener. Really it's just like a full body opener, because like you're literally opening on both sides. Now the spine more so is just kind of lengthening, if you will, but the upper body, the chest, the heart, it's really breathing open. So feel free to rock into your bridge or half a bridge, whatever feels good for you. Maybe you're just doing some slight movements. I'm not gonna stay too long on my wheel because I honestly prefer to cool down with supine twist and other things just lying completely on my back. So I'm gonna go ahead and move my wheel out the way. You guys are welcome to continue to use your props, whatever you feel you might want to do for yourself. This is your cool down portion, so if anything I'm saying doesn't resonate with you, feel free to choose your own options. Now, I started with my knees over hips. My arms are super wide in a T-shaped position. I'm flat on my back. And then keeping my knees bent, I just went ahead and dropped them over to the left side. I'm going to pick up the legs slowly, right knee first, then left knee. I'm going to keep on bringing the knees over to opposite side, and then I'm going to turn my head away from the legs. So I'm basically doing a supine kind of like twist, if you will, with the knees. So while my upper body stays anchored, my low body is twisting to opposite side, and then I'm turning my head gently away from my legs to get a little bit of that counter stretch and to feel that opening. So I'm going to both sides, taking my own pace. I recommend you guys do the same. Option to expand and find some additional stretches that work for you as well. Now knees are going to shift to opposite side. Once again, keep in mind that the shoulder blades are anchored here. The back of the hands are pressing into the ground. And the head and neck are slowly turning away from the legs anytime we shift. Now, staying as long as you'd like or exploring, maybe searching for an additional stretch that feels good for you. I'm moving into supine twist next. So I'm going to go ahead and set up with the knees to sky, and I'm going to cross my back leg over my front leg. Sit the hips up and towards the back of the room so that my knees can fall to the front of the room. While my head is still turned away from my legs, I'm just breathing into the side of the leg here, breathing into the spine. It's so much going on in these supine twists, I can't even begin to explain. So I'll go ahead and uncross, reset, knees to sky again, and then this time crossing the front leg over the back leg, sitting hips up and hips towards the front of the room so the knees can fall to the back of the room. So it's a little confusing to explain, but hopefully you guys are getting it. Arms are going to open super wide, shoulder blades anchored down, head turns away from legs always, and we're breathing into that spine. Should feel super yummy. I honestly love supine twist. If I do nothing else, I cool down with that pose. Now, taking a moment to reset, I'm finding Recline Butterfly. You guys are welcome to do any final stretches that feel good for you. And then we're gonna take a savasana together. So my heels are together, my knees are wide, my arms are overhead. Sometimes I like to stay in that arms overhead position, but shifting and moving more appropriately into a more restorative pose, it could feel better to bring the arms down to the sides. It's up to you. It can even feel better to bring the legs long, feet together, legs wide. I don't know. Explore your body so you can figure out what feels best for you. And then we're just going to start to settle in to whatever resting pose feels best for us, whether the feet are together or wide, arms to the sides or overhead. Just taking a few moments to acknowledge the work that you've done today. Maybe taking a moment to acknowledge any sort of sensations, acknowledge any signals or signs you have from your body. And as you receive the messages from your body, the distress signals maybe, just breathe into those places where maybe you have discomfort or any sort of tension stored up. Breathing into those areas that feel tight. Breathing into the places where we've set expectations for ourselves instead of appreciation for who we are and the moment we're in. Just take a few moments for gratitude, for acceptance, wellness, to be present. If it feels good, start to wiggle fingertips, wiggle toes. If it feels better to stay there, lay there. You don't have to move. But as you're ready, if you're ready, rolling to one side and pressing into that seated position with that option to stay if you're not ready. If you like to stay, stay. Now, if you're in that seated position, just resetting, breathing into the body, the spine, taking some movements that feel good, and acknowledging how much hard work you've done today. I want to thank you guys for showing up for another day of my 30 days of yoga. I hope you enjoyed your practice today, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace, flowmigos.